Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mike Ruler 31. I have a 5 game slate here early today, starting at 105. And then there's like just a baby 3 game slate tonight. It might be a 2 game with a rain out. So stay tuned to after the video when I go over the early, which is pretty much the main slate. And I'll just do a quick preview of the night slate if you're interested in playing that. So we have a game that was kind of rescheduled. I don't think it's a double header today because I don't see the other one listed. It's a divisional game, so they'll probably tack it on later in the season. But the Braves and Atlanta were rained out yesterday, so that's the first game here. It looks like maybe still like a 30% chance of rain in the morning, but it's going to taper off early. And be sure to watch tomorrow's video too, because I'll be doing that. And there's a lot of rain coming for the East Coast this weekend, even over like the next 7 days, a huge like low pressure system. So that's something start to look at. I think it might affect multiple games. So if you play like Solaire or other like season-long fantasy games, just something that we might want to consider is like looking at how the weather might affect the weekend. So we'll talk about that more in tomorrow's video. But anyways, should be okay for this one here. We have Elder. It was supposed to be Smith, hyphenated last name. It's not Smith Schuster. He's a football player, but you know who I'm talking about. But Elder's going to get the start here, and it's still going to be Nola also. I don't really love pitching on this slate. Again, it was really hard to figure out like who to play. I think Elder's in play here against Philly because Philly can lay an egg. It's 4 total on both sides. The wind is blowing in 12 miles per hour. It's only 64 degrees, so it's not great hitting weather. So that helps pitchers. I think I like Nola the best out of all the options here on 10K, especially on FanDuel. There's a nice discount there. Elder's 9.7 also, I think, is definitely in play. If you think the wind blowing in and the cool temperatures and you like the offense in other games better, then play both of them if you can get up to them. But I think Nola's going to be my SP1 here. Elder, I wouldn't hate you if you took him against the Phillies. Bat-wise, I think they're both GPPs because you have 2 decent pitchers. You have the wind blowing in. You have cooler temperatures. Both offenses can click. Both offenses have some strikeouts and can fail at times. So next up, we have Arizona taking on Oakland. No, Nationals, sorry. Tommy Henry and Jake Irvin. Not really interested in either one of these. I mean, Washington's in bad, but they can get hits and put them together. They have a 4.3 total. So, and Henry's been rough in some of his outings, and he's even played Washington, I think, and didn't really score that many points. So it's just not somebody I really want to. It's a small slate, so if you have to go there, like, not again, it's there's very limited options here. Let me just look up and see if I can confirm that he played Washington. Yes, he did, and he had a -7. They lost 10-5 in that game. He went 4.1 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs to Washington, and only had 2 Ks. So they just saw him on the 6th of June. So I mean, still, it was couple weeks ago, but still the results were not great. So not interested in Henry there. Jake Irvin on the other side, not interested in either. This Arizona offense has just been really good. Now there is a chance of rain for this game, probably more towards the end of the game. Probably should be able to get most of it in and not have to worry about it. Again, wind is blowing in. And this one also 9 miles per hour at 66 degrees. So again, not great hitting weather. Could be a little bit wet. I think they'll be fine. Arizona is the top stack on slate against Irvin here. Their lineup is already out as I record this, and pretty much the normal guys. So Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, Walker, Thomas has been decent too. And then you have some of the righties if you want to throw in the stack because you'll look at the Boston or the Washington bullpen eventually. Gurriel, Riviera, Edmond. I really don't like him. He's more of a defensive player. Kelly, a catcher, coming back from injury, really hasn't put up much. So I think it's sticking probably towards the top, and then maybe Alex Thomas if I need a cheap outfielder to round out my stack. Washington, I think, definitely is in play against Henry here. Probably a great GPP, probably some cheap fill-ins here. Thomas has been solid. Garcia, lefty and lefty, I'm still fine with that. Candelario, Mensis doesn't have much power. Ruiz is a cheap catcher, 3K. So, and then that's pretty much where I go. CJ Abrams, I like playing sometimes wrap around. He just has some speed and can hit for contact and can put up some decent numbers at 2.3K. Next up, we have the Oakland Athletics at the Cleveland Guardians. Things did not go the way we thought they would yesterday with the rookie pitcher. I'm so confident in that, and he did. He was okay, but he did give a bunch of runs. Esther Struvry Ruiz is just amazing. He's had 2 more stolen bases. I believe he's up to 39 on the season now. This is just absolute crazy numbers for anyone. And I know they changed the bases, but leadoff guy stealing bases left and right, he's up to 39 on the season. And this is just absolutely insane. Now, the only thing about him, you can't like compare him to Ricky Henderson. He's got 1 home run. It's probably inside the park home run because dude's like blazing fast. Maybe he did hit on the ballpark, but I don't see him. Maybe he'll be in like the 10-10 club by the end of the season if he can scrape out 10 home runs. But unless he has a huge power surge, like he's doing his job. He's getting the hits. He's walking. He's patient. He gets on the bases, and then he just steals them left and right. So definitely somebody taking advantage. So Logan Allen on the other side, I think he's probably going to be my favorite SP2. He hasn't been great either recently, but like looking at all the other candidates, he might, unless I'm paying up for 2 pitchers, he might be the only viable one that I consider. Logan, I just need you to get me like, if you can get me like 13 to 15 DK points, then I will be happy with that. So don't get blown up. Do your thing early on, and then get some Ks, limit the damage, and let's cash this slate. So that's where I think there's Sears on the other side. I think is in play because just Cleveland just has not been great. I know that they finally put up some numbers last night a little bit here, but really, Ramirez is the only one that really fear. Like plenty of lefty on lefty there. Rosario has been okay. Naylor, lefty and lefty. I'd rather have him against a righty. Bells is, just kind of past his prime here. I don't even think like the other Naylor is going to get a shot because I think he's a left-handed catcher. So Gallagher will probably play catcher. Straw's got some speed, but no power. Like nobody really like scares me here. So I guess Sears would probably be in contention too for SP too, and you save like $1,000 on that. So I think they're your SP2 options lay in this game. And then I think I definitely like Cleveland and Oakland as cheap fill-ins, especially like I said, Ruiz just as a one-off. I think, if I need an outfielder and doesn't fit in with my stacks at like 3-3, just the amount of putting up almost like 20 DK points a game, it seems like. We had 25 yesterday, 10, 7, 15, 25, 13. So 2, 4, 6, 7 straight games he's put up at least some points on DK. It's been pretty amazing. 7-game hitting streak here, just really good form. So should continue today. And like I said, for Cleveland bats, just Jose Ramirez, not really super excited about them. If you want them cheap fill-ins and you're not using Sears as your SP2, then that's perfectly fine. Boston and Minnesota here. Boston is using an opener situation and long reliever. Neither guy I'm too excited about. I don't think either one scores more than like single-digit DK points. Joe Ryan on the other side has been a disaster recently after starting out the season so good. Like I thought he like put another pitch in his arsenal and that was making him so strong. He did start out the season strong, putting up like 24, 27, 37, 27, 25 DK points. But then all of a sudden we hit the end of May and he went to Houston, and Houston, he gave up 5 runs. He gave up 2 runs in the next game, 3 runs in the next game, 6 runs in the last game. He's given up home runs and multiple home runs in a couple games. He got roughed up by Detroit, who, again, it's just been kryptonite to good pitchers recently. but the other teams like Toronto I get, but Cleveland just hasn't been good, and they put up runs on them too. So I don't know what to expect here. It's the Red Sox. They're a patient team. They don't strike out. They've got a lot of nice left-handed power. Now the game is not in Fenway, so it's kind of a park upgrade for him if instead of pitching in Fenway. But the Twins have a 5.09, or sorry, looking at the other side of it. Red Sox still have a 3.91 total. It's 87 degrees there, so it is decent hitting weather. I don't know. I like Nola and Snell better, I think. So I think those are my choices, but I'm not going to talk you off of Ryan. I think he's great in a GPP. I think the ownership on him, if he does start clicking, if he does have a good game. But again, the things that kind of concern me is his current form, and that Boston does not strike out a lot, and that Boston has a heavy left-handed lineup, and he's a right-handed pitcher. So there's the factors there. And again, I'm not touching the Boston one. So Boston, my favorite GPP stack. I'm going to take the lefties. Even Turner or Duvall have been doing well hitting righties recently. It just seems like the whole team's coming together pretty well. And then Minnesota definitely is in play also against this opening situation, and they're relatively cheap. I put them in the tops stacks just because I just think on the small slate that you just can't put them in the cheap categories fill-ins. I think they could be a primary stack if you wanted them to be against this Boston pitching situation today. San Diego Padres and San Francisco Giants. The Giants have been on a tear recently. They did lose the first game of this series, or maybe it was yesterday. I can't remember, but they're like 9-1 in their last 10. So on a pretty impressive streak here. It's at home, 58 degrees this afternoon here. Wind blowing out a little bit, but again, that really is not help as much in this stadium as it does in other ones. Blake Snell and Woods. Now Snell had a rough patch. I remember talking with McKinley at one point, and like we were commenting. Remember when Snell was a good pitcher, because he started off the season horrible, like single-digit DK points, and then started to look like he was getting back into form, and then fell off again in the middle of May. But recently, if I look at his last starts here, now they've been better teams. He had Washington, he had Miami, he had the Cubs, he had Colorado, and he had Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay is a good one, but he's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 5 games. He's only given up 1 home run, and he's had 12 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, and 6 strikeouts. So I know the Giants have been streaking. I know the Giants can match them, but they do have Wade Jr. out of their lineup there. Although he probably wouldn't have played or would have been down the order because we're lefty on lefty here. But I don't really like the righties as much. You have Slater, Matos is a great young player. Estrada, JD Davis hits lefties well. Bailey and Schmidt have had their times, but you're still going to probably have like 2 or 3 lefties in this lineup. So I think Snell will be fine. And I really like him. If you don't want to take Nola against the Braves, I think he's going to be your SP one here. Wood on the other side, I'm not interested in. He's still really cheap coming back from, I believe he was out with an injury. His first game back wasn't bad. Against the Dodgers, he put up 20 in 5 innings, but that was, the Dodgers have had a couple injuries recently, so it hasn't been their full lineup here. And San Diego is definitely loaded for bear. They have like all their guys in here and healthy and are starting to click. So not really interested in Wood, but again, it's a small slate, so if you think Wood's underpriced and can get some Ks against them, then by all means give it a whirl. San Diego's gonna be your second favorite stack on the slate, and San Francisco I think definitely is in play against Snell here. Maybe probably more of a leverage thing, but I just put them third in ranking. It was tough between them and Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota should be ahead of them, but I just, with San Francisco just being so hot recently, I definitely have to keep them in consideration. So let's look at the Bills, and then I'll give you a couple tips on the night slate. So like I said, it's hard here. I'm going Nola and Allen. If you want to go Nola and Sears, that's fine also. But give me Arizona and then Minnesota. And it's your choice if you want to, how you want to play it. if you want to go with more of the Minnesota stack, or if you want to go more the Arizona stack. Arizona stack's a little bit more expensive, so you know, you might, I'd say, have to pay down a pitcher, but you're really not saving on anybody you take. You pick up $300 if you're going down to Elder, and then like you're really dropping out of the high range. So I don't think that's an option in a GPP. It's great if you want to do something like crazy and go like Allen Sears as your like pitchers, and then be able to get like all the high priced Arizona bats and get a full stack in there. Then that's cool on DK. FanDuel, it's a little bit easier. Nola is my pitcher. Walker, Marte, whoever you want to fill in for third base there, or take a one-off. I think the Arizona and the Minnesota guys hit a little bit to the middle to down to the bottom of the lineup. So if you don't want to take one of those and there's one off you like, then that's awesome. Two, Perdomo, Carroll, Kepler. Kepler's had last two games is on fire, and he has the splits advantage. So, and I think he's moving a little bit up into the line, higher in the lineup. I think he's hitting like fifth. So if that continues, then that's a great spot for him. And then if you want to take like a cheap Arizona bat or Gurriel or somebody to finish off your outfield, or take Buxton, then however you want to. If Marte's not in the lineup, no, he is in the lineup because it's come out. But if you want to pit it off him and take Julian, who usually leads off for Minnesota, let me see if he's in the projected yet. Then that's another option there, or play him in the utility spots for FanDuel. GPP, give me Snell, and then I want to take the Phillies and the A's here. So JT Realmuto, first base, decide if you want a Phillies guy, take a one-off, or take Noto from the A's. It's going to be a lefty, but I think that's still fine. Second base, Stott's an option. The A's, I think, have some options. Bride should be in. He's minimum price. That's why I'm going to put him in the core here for the A's, and he usually hits like fourth or fifth or sixth in the order, so it's a decent spot for a player that has a splits advantage, that can get you some points and is minimum price. So absolutely like that play if he's in. If he's not, then I'll either punt it or find another player for like maybe Peterson or somebody will be in there for the A's. Turner, Harper, if you can't get up to Harper, then you can drop down to like Schwarber or Castellanos, and then Ruiz is definitely a priority there. And then finally for GPP, Allen, Turner, JT Realmuto at first base with their own utility if you want to. I'm going Boston and Philly, Devers, Turner, Yoshida, Castellanos. Figure out if you want to play Verdugo, Duran, or Duvall as the other outfielder for Boston. Or if you want Harper, Schwarber there, Allen does open up a lot, so you can be able to get the bats you want. So what I got for you. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. Hit me up at Twitter at MegaRover31. If you're playing the night slate, Tampa Bay has McLennan going against Jose Cuevas. Sounds like a liquor for Kansas City. Kansas City only has a 2.22 total. So McClanahan's going to be your default SP1 here, and you're going to load up on Tampa Bay bats. In an extreme GPP, you're going to take the Kansas City bats against him to hedge. Your SP2 is probably going to come from the next game. It's Pittsburgh and Miami. Keller and Garrett. Mitch Keller is at 9.9, but Pittsburgh only has a 3.3 total, so I don't think Braxton Garrett's that good. So if you're a betting person and that's still there, I'd bet the over on Pittsburgh. I think they could probably at least get to 4 runs against Miami and their bullpen, even though it's in a pitching park. So, one of those two, I'd probably take an SP2. And then I don't know if Seattle and New York Yankees are going to play. It's like 50 to 60% chance of rain here. It's Wu against German. One of those two could be your SP2 also. And if you think this game plays, you can use them as fill-ins with your Tampa Bay stack and cash. If not, if you're playing the Pittsburgh-Miami game, then take the bats from obviously the team that you're not using as the SP 2 against, and that's what we got. So these videos help you as always. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel. We're getting so close to 43,000. 43,000, 4,300, 43,000 would be amazing. think we're like three-person away. So, please help us hit that milestone so then we can go for 44 on our quest to get to 5K subscribers. But everybody that has subscribed, watch these videos, we appreciate it so much. So if we're helping you, help us back by liking, subscribe to our channel, share with your friends. And if you want more information on FSi DFS and how to sign up for all of our packages, then you can go to the description of the video and the link to our website is there. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great Thursday. Hope this great day leads into a great weekend for you. I'll be back tomorrow for I think it's a 10-game slate. And appreciate you watching. Good luck in your contests. I'll see you next time.